Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals come to learn the most efficient and powerful ways to grow their accounting firms, sharpen their sales skills, and really have a path to creating consistent increased revenue. I cover topics from networking, pricing, ideal clients, how to handle objections, how to handle you're too expensive, and how to set boundaries with clients so you can stop giving away your time and expertise away for free and really start getting paid your value and your worth. You'll learn tips and strategies and also hear personal interviews from successful accounting professionals and others in the industry. This podcast will show you exactly how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Our special guest, his name is Ross. He is the founder and chief profit strategist at his own company called Grow Green Profit Advisors. After years of working at a multi-million-dollar company with 10,000 plus employees, Ross knew he really wanted to have more of a direct impact on the world. And that's when Grow Green was started. And that was based on basically two beliefs. Number one, that small businesses are essential to our communities and to our economy. And number two, that small business lifestyle, it can be hard, but it doesn't have to be. And since 2017, when he started his business, he's impacted and helped dozens of business owners stop feeling like a slave to their business and finally having a business that serves them and their lifestyle and not the other way around. So before we welcome Ross to the show, I want to mention that Ross was also a graduate of the 8-week sales mastery training. So this is a case study type interview. And a lot of you might really resonate with what he went through, going from corporate, leaving the cush job, having a lot of money in his paychecks and a lot of benefits to leaving it all. And if been waiting around kind of for that right time and your fear is holding you back from creating the firm and life you've always dreamed of, then I invite you to have a chat with us, because if you want to finally feel in control over who you work with and never give away any free advice again and have the confidence to ask for higher fees, raise your rates to existing clients, and have a step-by-step process that's proven by almost 100 accountants now who I've worked with, and feel like you always just have too much on your plate, I would love to get to the truth and the bottom of what's going on in your firm. So you can head on over to theabundantcall.com and we can book a time to chat with myself or one of my colleagues, Molly or Denise. And we would love to really figure out how you can take things to the next level for you in your firm. And you don't need to take my word for it. Ross, he's going to share how he's tripled his rates. Actually, in his class, a gentleman, Marion, he did about $25,000 in revenue in the month of December of 2020, which is normally a slow month for him. And he knocked it out of the park during a pandemic. So take it from them. Take it from Ross today. I'd love to talk to a few of you. And you can book your call over at theabundantcall.com. And now let's welcome Ross to the show. So welcome, Ross, to the show.
Thanks so much, Michelle. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking out the time to speak to me today and share your story. I think it is a very impactful story. Just so everyone knows, Ross was a student, might currently continue in our coaching calls. We'll see about that. But completed the 8-week sales mastery, implemented every element that I think I taught. So, that was a very big accomplishment. And I just want to welcome you here and sharing your success, your wins with others who may be struggling with those things that you were struggling with, 4 to 6 months ago. But before we dive into our conversation today, Ross, can you share with everyone where your firm is and what services you offer? And, are you a one-man show or you got 10 people? Just share a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting too, because my firm, its focus has changed a little bit, even because of your course.
Ah,
So
nice.
we were Grow Green bookkeeping and payroll, which is very, commodity compliance, get stuff done for you, check the boxes. And we're in the middle of changing our name right now to Grow Green Profit Advisors. So we've always had this element of advising our clients. We've always met with our clients every month. So just kind of trying to take that approach to being a partner with our clients
Hmm.
in their business. Um, but the underlying services being bookkeeping and payroll. Also, during your course, kind of simultaneously, I had joined Profit First Professionals. So now we're a Profit First Professionals firm, just got certified. And so that's a big part of what we do now, too, and one of the ways that we're growing and expanding. So we are in the US, we have clients all over, mostly in Oregon and Utah, but some other states as well, and Canada now. So we can say we're an
Oh, nice.
international firm. Yeah, pretty exciting. And we're a fairly small team right now. It's me and two others, but we're going to keep growing, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure you have grown quite a bit, and feel free to share any numbers that you would like to share. But Ross, I know that you're quote unquote based in the US, but I think what would be really awesome is, shared your vision on the life that you wanted to create, because this is the Abundant Accountant podcast. And I would love to know, what was your vision of abundance? What did you want your life to be? Because you basically have created it. And I know it was scary, probably terrifying, all those things that come up when you make a big shift. But I think that would give a lot of listeners some context about, if you want that life of abundance, each of us has a different definition. So, what was that for you?
Yeah, so for us, a location independence was a big thing. My wife and I wanted to be able to travel both for ourselves, but also to give our children experiences. And when we're talking about abundant lifestyle or lifestyle design, kind of figuring out what that ideal lifestyle is, we always talk about this with our clients. I think that's going to be true for a lot of listeners too. We talk about that with our clients and trying to help them work towards that, but are we doing it for ourselves? And so
Right.
we decided that we were going to sell our house, which we did right at the end of last year, and live abroad for a while. So we've been in Mexico, in Acapulco, for over 2 months now, and it's a dream. I mean, it's a gorgeous place. The weather's amazing. I go to the beach almost every day. The
Wow.
people are wonderful. I'm working on my tan. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you're also headed off to Colombia in a couple months, so you're able to have 100% remote business, with all the systems, still meet your clients every month, and still grow revenue, and have that, what you called it, location independence, and that for you was abundance. That's how you're fulfilled. And I think for each of us, we all have a different vision, but I know for so many people, we feel underappreciated by our clients. We feel like they always want to nickel and dime us. You deal with the tire kickers and all those things. So let's talk about before we met and before you enrolled in the 8-week sales mastery training. What was business like for you prior to 6 months ago, let's just say?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because business wasn't bad. I mean,
Right.
2020
Yeah.
was a great sales year for us. But when we look at our sales process, that there wasn't one. I would basically wing it with each prospect. Some conversations went fine, others didn't. But even those that did sign were underpriced and we didn't communicate value well to them. I didn't even understand our value, so how could I communicate it to our prospects, to our clients?
And when you say you didn't understand your value, can you share a little bit more about that? Like when you say I didn't know my value, and we were underpricing, what were you thinking? What were those thoughts? What did that feel like?
Yeah, so before your course, I had looked at some pretty, high level metrics in terms of my clients. Their revenue was this before me, and it's this after. Their profits were this before, it was this after. But really nothing in terms of how has their lifestyle changed? What are their feelings? What are their emotions? What's their peace of mind?
Mhm.
Um, how do they view the services that we're providing to them? And so kind of understanding all of those things, that it's not, the prospects don't care about monthly reconciliation. They don't care about,
No, I don't even know what
the
that
number
means.
on the
No, I'm just
balance
kidding.
sheet. Yeah, for sure. What they care about is knowing where their money is going, having peace of mind, feeling secure, feeling like their business rewards them. And so as we aligned our focus to those things, it better syncs up with them. And so even though we're doing a lot of the same things, just that little pivot makes us much more valuable and much more in line with their goals.
Yeah, and I think, from listening to you, it's now that you can connect to them at their level, right? When you talk about no one cares about the number on the balance sheet, well, maybe they sort of do, but that's not the primary. The primary is they want to see, the fruits of their labor. They want to see that they're getting paid first. They want to see they work so hard and there's still money in the bank account. Those are the things that the business owners actually care about. And when we communicate to them at that level, they feel heard, they feel understood. You have a deeper connection, which immediately improves the value.
Absolutely.
Yeah, business wasn't bad in 2020. So what's it like now?
Oh, it's amazing. So by the end of your course, recurring revenue was up 4,000 per month. And that's a testimonial I have shared before and will continue to share, I'm sure. It's been amazing for us. Our rates are almost triple what they were before. So 2020 was a great year. 2021 is already on track to double it.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, this month, March, is our current all-time highest for sales. And it probably won't be long until we beat that.
Wow,
It's a different
congrats.
business.
Yeah, so what were those feelings that you had and the challenges that you had? Because like you said, 2020 wasn't bad. And for some people listening, yeah, it's not bad. But what had you enroll in the sales course? And I know it was kind of terrifying for you at first too, because it wasn't bad. So what had you take that jump, that leap of faith and make these shifts? Now you see the end result. You tripled your fees. You've got extra 4,000 recurring revenue, which I'm sure is growing. You've had the best month ever in your firm, and you're on track to double your revenue from where you were at 2020, which is fantastic. But, what about like what it was before and what made you do that shift?
Yeah. So a few factors. One being that I did have a sense that we were underpriced, that we were providing great value, but I didn't know how to change that, how to communicate it. Another very related to that was pricing. I just never knew what to do in terms of pricing. Felt I was too low, but I didn't know what the right number was, and I was hoping for, some coaching, I guess, in how to price and to feel confident in the pricing. So those things were kind of made me start looking into it. And I'll say, I met with Molly and talked with her. She was the first person I communicated with. And when she told me the price, I was like, oh, well, I guess I won't be doing this. That was kind of my gut reaction. And
The
I
price,
didn't have the
and
cash
everyone
for it.
listening, it's the price to enroll in the 8-week sales mastery training. And Molly is one of my colleagues on my team. So if any of you want to inquire, you'll talk to me or Molly or maybe even Denise. So I just wanted to give that little backstory. So you heard the price, you're like, no way.
At the same time, I knew it was a service that I needed. I checked out your testimonials page, watched a lot of those videos, read a lot of those reviews, and felt that it would be pretty impactful for my business. So Molly did something that was great. She said, think about it for 2 hours. I'm going to call you back. And so I did. And I thought about it a lot. And
What were those
ultimately
thoughts?
was able.
What
Yeah.
were those thoughts in those 2 hours?
The thoughts were that basically it comes down to, do I believe in the services that you're offering? And if I do, then the price is going to justify it. And I'm going to get great value for it, and it will be a great investment. And one of my other thoughts was that if I move forward with this and I put this money into it, then I'm going to do everything Michelle asked me to do. That was one of my thoughts and one of the decisions I made
Well, you
even
did.
before I talked to you.
Wow, you did do that.
Yeah. And so I put the course, on a credit card, and within a month of the course being over, I'd already paid the card off. So it was not a financial burden at all, quite the opposite. Like we've already talked about, amazing results for my firm and will continue to pay off. I still use your processes. I do my, weekly follow up, and
That's
I follow the
awesome.
sales process with prospects. So,
Oh, that's fantastic. And I have Ross, a new tool that I'll be sharing here on the podcast, and you'll get it in my emails. So if you guys want to hear about it, then make sure to go to my website and opt into the emails. I don't spam. I just send updates about the podcast. You get 2 a month from me. That's pretty much it. If you're a graduate, you might get 3 or 4 a month. Uh, but that tool might really even up your game a little bit more. But the fact that you've implemented everything, and what you did, Ross, and I've shared this before with you, and I'll share it here again. It took courage. It took being kind of uncomfortable, because you ultimately you were going into an unknown at all times that we do things, right? Be it your education, coaching, different services. It's sort of an unknown until you get into it. So I'd love for you to share, what we shared about the course and what you received after you put all the work in. Because, by the way, it doesn't work if you don't actually do the work. That doesn't work. I've already had a couple people prove that to me. But share, because we each have this idea of, oh, well, I think this is what it's going to be. And then this is what it actually was. Can you share a little bit about your experience in the course?
yeah. So my experience in the course was that you taught us layer upon layer processes that we could follow in our sales efforts, and even in some of our communication with clients or referral partners. And so, 1 week we might learn about one aspect of the sales process. So maybe, communicating with prospects and how to filter those prospects that come into your business. And then the next week we might talk about the discovery call and the steps that you take to make that discovery call a success. And so I found everything very practical, very applicable. So I came out of the course with a process that I still follow. So I actually have a meeting with a prospective client later today.
Very nice.
And so I've already blocked off an hour before that meeting when I'm going to go through the pre-sales sheet and fill it out.
Yeah, you keep this up, Ross. You'll double revenue again next year. If you follow every single little itsy bitsy thing you've learned, the people that I've seen who are still in the coaching calls, we pretty much are consistent double revenue. So it's going to be very interesting in the next 2 years to see how they trend.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. So yeah, those very applicable steps, creating templates, creating prepared responses for situations, just makes it so that you're not caught off guard. You know how to respond to different things that come up. That's pretty valuable.
Yeah, awesome. And what about your fears that you had? Because I think a lot of us, we own our own business, or maybe you're in a firm and you really want to quit and you want to start your own firm because you're sick of working really hard for somebody else. And you probably never thought about that you signed up for a 24/7 sales career, because that's what you are if you're meeting with prospects. But I don't think as accountants, EAs, CPAs, profit first professionals, that really ever crossed our minds, right? Can you share with us, what were those fears? What was that like for you to make this, transition?
Yeah. So, I'm one that, what was it now? Almost 3 years ago, I was in corporate finance and I had a very stable job, fantastic benefits, great growth trajectory, and I could have had a very easy, comfortable life. A lot of people in that company stayed for a very long time. And that would have been very, like I said, easy, comfortable. But I think a lot of us feel this draw to do something on our own, to have a more direct impact with others. And so at some point you have to accept those fears, those things that are coming up. They're all the reasons not to, and decide if you are passionate enough to overcome them and make that choice. And that's something that I did at that time to make a leap, to start my bookkeeping and payroll business, and then to grow and develop it from there. And it was a process. I mean, it requires patience and time and effort and lots of sales, like you said. And even in your course, there were a lot of moments where I kind of had to do that too, where I'd come up with something that was really uncomfortable, scary, terrifying. And I'd have to decide, okay, how much am I putting into this? Do I really want to do that? It seems hard. And for me, I had made that decision earlier where I said, I'm going to do what Michelle tells me. I'm going to do my best. And so I did. And one of those examples was
let's hear a real life example. I want to know what it was.
Yeah. So probably the hardest part for me, emotionally, was the video reviews with clients. The idea of doing those terrified me. But I had to decide whether I wanted to, move forward, trust you, ignore the comfortableness of stretching myself, or did I want to give in and just remain stationary? And obviously I made the first choice, or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, and your review page is amazing. Yeah, and a lot of people, Ross, don't do that. It is uncomfortable. It is scary. It is terrifying. And, whatever it is for each of us throughout the sales process, you're going to come along the bumps in the road. And I think it's similar to the bumps in the road of growing pains of owning a business. Like you said, you could have been at your corporate finance job. It was very comfortable. And I'm sure you're making a great salary. And you probably had, like you said, great benefits. You had paid vacation. Now, paid vacation, you better have enough recurring revenue to sustain you for a couple, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Then you don't have to worry about anything. You have paid vacation all the time, especially with your location independence. So, yeah, no, getting the client reviews. So what was that? I know you said the reason why was because you made a commitment that if you're going to pay for the course, enroll, you're just going to do everything I say and trust that it's the right thing, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, in addition to that, though, seeing your testimonials page and also knowing how it was impactful for me, I knew it would have a lot of power. And if I wanted to get my business, up another level, making a page like that would do it. It would help set me apart.
Yeah. And so share with us the results, because I think, what was the uncomfortable, scary, terrifying part? Was it getting rejected, that people wouldn't do it? Being told, Ross, you're crazy. I'll never share this information with you. I don't want to share anything about me or my business or me even working with you. What was the stuff underneath that made it so uncomfortable?
Asking clients for the reviews was a little bit uncomfortable. Doing the video reviews yourselves and putting myself on camera and then putting it on the website, that was the scariest part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I decided that I would do it. And even now, like I have another one next week and one the week after.
Oh, wow.
Lined
awesome.
up. Yeah. I still get nervous about them. It's just, I don't know if I'll ever be 100% comfortable with them. But I know their value and their importance, and they can share their stories with other business owners just like them, and hopefully it helps us to help more businesses and to make a difference in their lives.
And that's really what it's about, because of the review page I had. That's what, I always say, it's like Humpty Dumpty sitting on the wall, right? How do you get them to go over the edge and have a great fall, but in the right spot? Because I know it's going to help. And those reviews are so powerful to grow a business. I can't, Ross, you read the book, Influence, right? By Dr. John Cialdini, and
parts. I haven't finished
parts
yet.
of it. Okay. Well, the one about social proof, in the book Influence, I mean, this has been talked about for way before Michelle was born years. So it's definitely impactful in that it's so huge, and it will take your firm places you didn't even know was possible. Like it helped me. And, I'm very on top of it. Every single graduate, I ask for a review, and I really haven't been told no. So that's a lot of people. I have so many reviews that aren't even on the site.
That was my experience as well, that every single client I asked said yes.
Yeah. So sometimes we think, oh, they're not going to do it. Oh, they're so busy. Oh, I don't want to get rejected. Oh God, that's uncomfortable. When really people want to share why they like you. They want to share what a difference it made for them in their business, especially for monthly bookkeeping, accounting services, and Profit First on these monthly recurring revenue. I mean, you can really grow a firm to levels you've never seen before. It requires a great video, or not only video and written review page. So kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me.
You're most welcome. Thanks for implementing and doing it and sharing it with me. He sent me a link with it. It was so awesome. And so if you go to my page and look at the reviews, his looks just the same. I always say, you guys can copy mine. It's just a template. It's just
that's what I did.
Yeah, each of you are more than welcome to go and copy my review page. So Ross, thank you so much for sharing your journey, where you've gone. Is there anything else that you'd want to share? Let's just say you're speaking to Ross 6 months ago, previous Ross. Is there anything else you'd want to share with him or a listener that maybe you've never shared before? Your experience in the 8-week sales mastery training, your experience with all the work and the homework, because that's definitely not easy. I know that. Or anything else that we just haven't touched on yet today?
I think the main thing would just be to encourage myself, encourage others like me to do it. As long as you commit to doing the homework, to following what you teach, Michelle, then no one's going to come out of that course without huge benefits, without a big difference, without improved sales process and greater pricing and whatever else they might need in their business. So that's all I could do. I can't recommend your course highly enough. I'm so glad I did it. So grateful.
Well, I'm grateful I was able to support you, see your growth, look forward to continuing to see your growth. And it was an honor to have you here and just be able to share with others who, sometimes we get in our own ways. And when we step to the side, this is where massive change can happen, not only on your personal level and your personal life, and you being able to travel the world and be location independent and have that abundance already, not even the financial stuff. That's different. This is like you said, you could be comfortable in corporate America right now, but you made that jump and you made the transitions and you got really comfortable being uncomfortable, Ross. So kudos to you. Thank you for being here on the Abundant Accountant podcast. It was an honor to have you.
Thank you, Michelle. It's been great being here.
Thank you all so much for joining Ross and I today on the Abundant Accountant podcast, hearing his story from having a cush job in corporate to taking that leap of faith and creating the life he wants and loves, and to be living in Mexico and Colombia and having his family travel. It's pretty impressive. But I do want to share what he was talking about. And Ross definitely was uncomfortable many times. And he said it today. And I just want each of you to think about this, because with public speaking for me, it's never comfortable. I never really enjoy it. I've spoke at QuickBooks Connect. This year, I'm speaking at another conference in October of 2021. And I always get nervous. And there's, I think, always going to be elements in your firm, in your business, in the parts of the business that we need to operate that are not going to be that comfortable. However, with practice and repetition, and it's like a baseball player going up to bat. We just have to keep going up to bat, and we have to keep trying. And when I remember the last time I was at QuickBooks Connect, it felt so much more comfortable than all the other times that I've presented. at different academies with Dominique Molina at Certified Tax Coach, with Profit First at ProfitCon, this new event that's coming up. There's just so many different elements that I've put myself in. And sometimes we just have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because the jitters, the anxiety, the stress that comes with it, the little sweats, you kind of get really warm real quick. All of that, it's just normal. And I think in some areas, we're really great. We're really confident. We're really comfortable. You're probably great at cash flow projections, accounting, right? The taxes, all the technical stuff. But how do we have the confidence to ask for those higher fees? How do we get the strategy to raise our rates to existing clients? Like Ross did. He actually didn't mention that, but he raised his rates to his existing clients too. And pretty much all of them said yes, except a couple that didn't even want to work with him anymore, and he didn't want to work with them anymore. So it was a great way to weed some people out. And what I'm saying is that I'm still nervous public speaking, and I'm sure Ross is still nervous doing video reviews, and he will be for a very long time. And my guess is probably for forever. It just gets a little easier every single time. So if each of you want to really have control over what happens next in your firm, and you need to do something different, and Ross's story impacted you, and you want to finally feel in control over who you work with and never give any free advice away ever again, and have a proven system that you can follow, and you've tried other things or you've tried to figure it out on your own, it hasn't worked, then I invite you to contact us at theabundantcall.com. Book a call. You'll talk to myself, Molly, Denise, one of us, and we'll get to the truth of really what's going on in your firm. And if we feel we're a good fit to work together, we'll talk to you about that too. So once again, you can go over to theabundantcall.com to schedule your complimentary call, and we'll see and really figure out how you can get to that next level and be similar to Ross. I mean, tripling rates and getting recurring revenue to $4,000 a month extra on top of what he already had. Those are pretty normal results. And if you put in the work and you're ready to put yourself to the side, because sometimes our self gets in our way, then let's chat. So thank you all so much for joining us here on the Abundant Accountant podcast today. And I'll see you in the next episode.